Hello, everyone. Welcome to Touchdown on True Sports, brought to you by Pickups, your everything on demand delivery app. My name is Chantel Alicia, and I'm going to be your host for today's show. Joining me are my analysts, Nolan Kangas, Luca Moya, and Stephen Clennon. Today, we're going to be giving you some insight on what's really happening with some of these teams, because I'm sure, as you guys would all agree with me when I say this was definitely a week full of major upsets for many teams. So to get us started, you guys have been given the job as GM, okay? And you're going to be handed a team that's struggling. So Nolan, you're going to be the GM of Atlanta. Stephen, you for Washington, and Luca, you have Detroit. So what I want to know is, Nolan, how are you going to help your team win and get into the playoffs on a consistent basis?
All right, so with Atlanta, obviously, they had to fire Dan Quinn because he was struggling big time. So I got to get myself a coach. So with that, I think Brian Daboll, what he's doing in Buffalo right now, Josh Allen, guys, he looked phenomenal yesterday in that game against the 49ers. The way he play designs is incredible. He's worked with some great minds like Nick Saban at Alabama. I think he would be a great fit in Atlanta. With Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley. This is a really good offense, right? So he would script up some nice plays for them. The issue is that defense is really, really bad. They cannot get after the quarterback. Looked up some numbers. Steven Means is their highest graded pass rusher according to Pro Football Focus. He has 2 sacks. Dante Fowler Jr., he was their big prize free agent who they got. He has 2 sacks. He has the second worst run-stopping grade of any edge defender in the NFL, and the contract's pretty ugly too, right? They have no cap space either, so they really have to start focusing on the draft. And there's 2 really talented edge rushers. One out of Miami, Gregory Rousseau. He, sat out this year due to COVID. He's a freak, 6'7", 265. If he can't get after the quarterback because he's getting double teamed, he's going to swat down some passes. That's how big this kid is. And Kwity Paye out of Michigan, he's been terrific. Pressures. Michigan's been a disaster. He's been a lone bright spot for that team. I think if Atlanta ends up with any of these 2 players, they would be set. They do have, some solid role players at every level of the defense. You guys know Grady Jarrett. He's terrific. In the middle, Deion Jones, when he's healthy, he's a really good linebacker. And Keanu Neal, when he's healthy, he's pretty good as well. Sometimes he has some great games, sometimes not so much. He's more of a box player. And A.J. Terrell, you know what? These corners, the rookie corners this year have been really bad. He's maybe been the only one who's been okay throughout most of the week. So if they can find a corner the opposite of him, this defense would be all right. There's going to be some players I got to get rid of, right? Todd Gurley, he's a free agent. See you later. Alex Mack, the center, he's about 35 years old. He's only really good in the run game right now. Guess what? Your best weapons are in the pass game. So I feel like that doesn't make sense. He's a free agent. That's about $9 million off of your salary cap there. So that helps out a little bit too. So this is a young offensive line. You have 2 good receivers. You go get a running back in the draft in the 4th or 5th round or whatever. The question mark is going to be Matt Ryan too, right? And Matt Ryan, he's going to be 36 next year. I still think he's a middle-tier quarterback. I think he has some good games and some bad games. It really depends on Julio and Calvin Ridley because that's, a terrific duo of wide receivers, easily top 5 in football. So they can script up good plays for this offense. And I would keep Raheem Morris on this staff. He took over. They should be 5-2 right now. If Todd Gurley falls before the end zone, that's a win against Detroit. Those 2 losses in his 7 games, New Orleans, who's playing lights out right now. That's what I would do if I was GM. Get myself an offensive-minded coach. Keep Raheem Morris on the staff. I would get a pass rusher. They need to get after the quarterback. We saw what Vic Beasley could do a little bit. Again, he's struggled in other areas. When he went to Tennessee, ended up getting cut. And Dante Fowler Jr. hasn't done really anything for them. They get a freak-like edge rusher. This team will be up and coming. And I think it would be a good transition from Matt Ryan, a few good years left on him with Daboll, to maybe get back in the playoffs for a couple more years.
Okay, so like I said, that leaves me with Washington. I don't feel like we're struggling right now, though. Ron Rivera let me step in. He's let me take over his GM role, which thank you, Ron. Thank you. I think we can make something great happen here. We got some young pieces on our defensive line. Montez Sweat, Chase Young. We're looking good. Our front 7. Hey, man, we just came off a huge win against the Steelers. Knocked them off. gave them their first loss on the season. We're feeling good, but I'm looking at the team and I'm saying, you know what? I like the youth movement, but I feel like we need some more veteran leadership in here to kind of push us forward to get to the playoffs, to kind of push us forward to even look towards a Super Bowl maybe. But the three spots I'm really looking at for this team right now, I'm looking at DBs, I'm looking at outside linebackers, and I'm looking at possibly even getting us, a step up at quarterback. So the first thing I'm gonna do, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to let Ryan Kerrigan go in the season, in the off season. I mean, his salary right now is $11.5 million. I'm gonna take all of that. I'm gonna put that towards the cap. I can't be giving him money for a position I don't even really need him to play right now because I have so much youth out there. So you know what? It's just a smarter move. By moving that money there, that's going to open up about $23 million in that cap for Washington right now. So we're feeling nice. I think our main priority, we got to re-sign Brandon Sheriff, our guard, because if we lose him, I think we're going to lose a lot of games because of that. He's a great presence on that offensive line, and he's protecting the quarterback. And when he's there, the rest of that offensive line kind of functions around him. It's almost like he's the center, even though he's not. He's the one who controls most of the floor of the offensive line, and we need to keep him here in order to protect whoever's playing our quarterback position. So looking at it, I think, for the rest of our offensive line additions, we can actually go to the draft and add from there in the later rounds and find pieces to put there. But if I'm looking at linebackers and I'm looking at who's coming up in this offseason as a free agent, I'm thinking maybe bringing in some veteran talent. I know these guys might be old, but I'm looking at a Levanta David, maybe a KJ Wright and a Devondre Campbell coming out of Atlanta. Maybe if I can bring pieces like that here and have someone like that, a standout guy who can cover the pass, who can stop the run and do everything I need in that position right now. Even though I do have someone there who's young, I just feel like having a veteran out there to make the play calls and bring that secureness to the defense, especially in that front seven, one of those guys to do it. So maybe, maybe not. At DB, it's really a two-pronged question because right now our number 2 DB, his contract is coming up to an end, Ronald Darby. And I think at the safety position, we need a bit more versatility out there. We just don't have enough, it doesn't seem like. But you know what? If we're not going to find that in the draft, which it's very possible we could, I think we got to look at a couple more free agents out there. Maybe like someone like Mike Hilton coming out of the Steelers. I know he might control a bigger contract this season because he's been playing lights out while he's out there. But if we give him the money and he can lock that down for us, I like how our situation is looking. Maybe we can bring back Quentin Dunbar. Probably won't happen. He's out there with Seattle. Seattle will probably try to keep him there. Even though he's been injury-ridden this season, I think it would help lock down our secondary. Also, maybe just bring back Ronald Darby. He's only 27 years old. Keep him here on a contract. Lock him in. He's been doing well for us this season. We don't have to teach somebody our whole playbook again, so keep him here and lock him in. And then at the safety position, maybe like a Keanu Neal or a Malik Hooker. These guys, these young guys, 26 and 25, want to bring that youth culture here, but some more veteran experience that's been out in the field who knows what they're doing. Lock that in, and it could be scary for us, especially on that defensive side of the ball. We'll lock everything down. Finally, at that quarterback, I mean, I'm gonna do everything I can to keep Alex Smith around because he showed, hey, you can't stop this boy. He's out there. He's playing well. He's trying to lead us right now, take us all the way to a championship. Who would ever think that? We're tied for the division lead right now with the Giants. The Giants. Oh, my God. Anyways, I just think we're going to keep him around. We're going to have to let Kyle Allen go. And Haskins, he can hold the clipboard for all I care. Looking at the free agent market, it's harsh, man. It's harsh. But I'm thinking maybe I could get Cam to come back next year, do a little talking to him, $4 or $5 million, bring you two back together. Maybe we just win again. I don't know, but I just feel like we need to upgrade that quarterback position. Cam looks like he could be decent there. Bringing them back together might work. It just might. But the only other option I see for this entire team, and if I want to go haywire with this, forget everything I just said. Everybody who we want, toss them out the window. Any of our people that we're going to sign back, don't sign them. Toss all that money in the pot and go after Dak Prescott. Maybe it could be crazy, but he might just want to get some revenge against Dallas for not signing him to a full-time contract. And he might just come over and play with us in Washington just to get some revenge. It's possible, and it might be throwing away a lot of our future, but maybe not. we might just want to take the leap. And as a GM, it's going to be one of those two decisions for me. I just don't know which one I'm going to make. But the way I see it, the only thing that we should really change about the Washington football team's future right now, we need to get a real team name, guys. Can't do this football team stuff anymore.